elves of the Woodland Realm have been corrupted by the deep-seated evil that lays in the forest, and now the other elves have had to come together, reforming the line and preparing themselves to defeat this corrupted spawn of Melkor. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish, and welcome back once again to some more Total War Rise of Mordor. Today we have an epic elven civil war, which should hopefully shape up to be one hell of a battle. On one side, the Woodland Realm, who, as I said, are fighting for the forces of evil. They have a whole range of heavy infantry on their front line, the Lazarine blades, supported by the spearmen, also cavalry on either flank, and I believe they also have a new shock infantry unit as well in the most recent update. Obviously, as well, you can see the Woodland Realm archers here moving into position, and we'll go on slow-mo for the start of this battle, and then we obviously also have the general over on this side as well, moving forward as the new ROM music does take over. It's awesome they've managed to get this into the most recent update, because now I no longer have to edit in the Rise of Mordor music. Then over on the far left hand side, we do have the forces of Rune on their front line. They're going to have the clan's guard, the heavy spearmen, who are basically like an immovable object. They're going to be supported by some archers, and then obviously the Loke Room frontline infantry, maces, swords, everything you could possibly want. These guys will bring it to the battle. And then finally, for the rest of their forces, we do have the amazing warlords of Rune, as they charge forward with their weapons prepared, and obviously Bane of the Steppe as well, an elite shock cavalry unit. Over on the other side, may I say though, we're actually going to have to get a charge kicking off right away into the shock infantry of the Linden Elven Noldrin elves even, sorry. These are the elves on the west coast of Middle-earth, as they receive that charge, able to actually repel it okay, but still taking a lot of damage. Brutal stuff there. You can see some of their units back here. Got some more archers as they go further back, and they're going to be supported by the Linden elves, so the elves from Rivendell. And again, you get to take a nice little look at their heavy infantry down the battle line. The elves, again, don't really have a ton of units in their rosters at the moment, but a lot of the elves are starting to get more and more every single update. You know, generally, the most things they have are either like really good two-handed shock infantrymen, or they have obviously really good archers, and they kind of basically just have the standard sword shield, shock infantry, archer, cavalry. And obviously, as the elves get more and more developed, they'll go ahead and receive way more units. But a really nice charge to kick this battle off, honestly, as the runic forces retreat back. And unfortunately, as you can see, the entirety of the elven line over here, or I guess the forces of good over on this left-hand side, they're all kind of away here, so they couldn't countercharge that cavalry whatsoever, which was really, really scary. We do have the Noldrin cavalry, though, moving over, and apparently these guys are all horse archer cavalry as well, so they should be able to do a lot of damage if they get stuck in, that is for sure. But you can just see the damage that was received off that charge. To be fair, though, for shock infantry, they managed to repel that pretty well. You definitely cannot complain about that. You know, they lost, what, like 12 men, 18 men in these units? Like, that's pretty good, considering you decimated one unit of lancers and did some decent damage on the other one. So not bad whatsoever, as more and more of the forces do move forward. The music is raging. God damn, this is a beautiful time to be in love with Rise of Mordor. Also, I should mention as well, as we do get the elves charging in here against the Hall Guardians. And yeah, this is their new shock infantry. I think they got equipped with a new halberd, which looks really, really cool. So these guys are over on this side. But yeah, as I mentioned as well, if you guys are looking to play more Rise of Mordor, you're like, oh, Rise of Mordor looks awesome, but I have no one to play it with, make sure you join their Discord. I'll leave a link to it down below in the description. They've been constantly hosting a ton of multiplayer events, which I think is really good for the community and the game. They're also hosting, I think it's already filled up, but you can definitely join for the next one, a new tournament as well, which I'll be covering on the channel. So, as I said, highly, highly recommend you guys check that bad boy out. And get stuck into the community. Oh, more cavalry quickly shifting over all the way from the Eastlings, looking to help out their allied forces. I mean, at the moment, the Hall Guardians are more than capable of repelling this, but having reinforcements from the cavalry coming in as well, as the Lancers just smash into their side. This is not great. Archer fire coming in, though, from the Horse Archer cavalry, trying their best, but the Bane of the Steppe getting stuck in is never a good thing if you're up against it. The Bane of the Steppe, the Eastling cavalry with the axes, super tough melee cavalry, very, very hard to break, and yeah, you have to be extremely careful when it comes to dealing with them. Rest of the line, though, the elves are just duking it out, it would seem, with the Easterling archers. Obviously, the elves will be coming out on top here. I believe they are higher in number as well. But still, you know, worth messing around with and trying to, you know, at least whittle them down. And not only that, you want to always try and skirmish the elves. It's a tactic which you're going to obviously lose, but you want to be using their ammunition. You'd much rather than be shooting your own archers and trading kind of more efficiently than them focusing down like your shock infantry or your cavalry or more important units. And this way, at least the elves start to use some of their ammunition as well on your own archers. And then again, archers hitting archers don't really do too much. You can see the elves now pushing forward a little bit, trying to maybe hit something a little bit more valuable. You know, like them Warlords of Ruin are obviously prime targets for sure. As well as this, I don't know why these guys are so exhausted, but the Noldrin archers over on this side are exhausted somehow. Don't quite know how. The main fight is obviously going to be over here as the elves try and break their way through. However, the lancers are going to be chasing them down, trying to pursue them and catch them off. And they do manage to go ahead and slam into the side. However, the elves do fire off a volley as they do move off. Obviously, you can see that skirmishing capability from the Linden. These aren't the Linden elves. What elves are these? These are the Noldrin elves, yeah. You can see their ability to skirmish. I believe they are maybe a little bit faster as well. So they're going to be able to send these lancers on a wild goose chase, I'm pretty sure. And they're getting more and more units through as well. I mean, overall, this fight is going pretty good. But obviously, the Hall Guardians, the heavy shock infantry from the Woodland Realm, is going to never break here. The cavalry is better just I mean, it's good that they've managed to engage the cavalry from the Easterlings, honestly. But they're better off just trying to kill the cavalry and then leaving the Hall Guardians. The Hall Guardians are in squares, so you can just move in between the gaps. And basically what they've done is they've just been trying to get units through this battle line, which does, again, look spectacular. They're just trying to get units like over the hill and stuff to help out. And you know, have engagements here. The horse archers having a pretty good time of it, just firing in, doing what the elves do. Definitely reminds me of The Hobbit. When the elves come in. Oh, a nice charge though. The lancers, a bit of a miss micro going on there with that unit of horse archers right there. Unfortunately getting caught. Again, these guys should be like chasing them to the ends of the time. And oh, another charge coming in here. Thankfully, these guys are either on skirmish mode or they are being organized. Either way, actually deciding to counter charge. I'm not sure what quite happened there. Still able to take care of this cavalry, which is super effective. I definitely can't wait to play the Mordor Elves. I'm a big fan of horse archer cavalry. I think it's really fun to disintegrate your opponent with cavalry. I know it's so frustrating to play against. We do have the Elvenkin Rider, though, the general for the Woodland Realm, about to come flying into the back of these shipwright nobles. They are going to turn and countercharge, but countercharging is not a good plan of action, as you can see. And this is the strongest unit the Linden Elves do have, and losing just literally lost 40 men, 40 men now from the unit is catastrophic. That's like about 700 gold right there with that one charge. Obviously, again, the Elkin Rider is getting smashed by Elven Archer fire, but even still, that's not great. And you can see the Elven on Elven Archer off going on right now as both sides are just exchanging their missile fire. God damn, as well, this music is freaking intense right now. More arrows come flying in. Just trying to pick them up. I mean, this is just a very heavy skirmish. The main fight is obviously going elsewhere. Oh, and it does seem like the elves did decide to fall back here and allow Hall Guardians to move in. Yeah, again, these Hall Guardians are going to hold this pass to the end of time. They really, really are. However, the elves back here have done a pretty good job. One of them actually being beaten back, but the other one surviving. The healthier unit does survive. And I imagine this will be the focus point. It is going to probably get surrounded. So if I was this guy, I would just be charging my cavalry into open space, maybe trying to bring it around and trying to make something else happen. You know, whilst all the cavalry is chasing me here, like, I would try to charge into these lancers and just go as far away to the battle as I could. Whilst that's going on, I'd bring all this cavalry around, and whilst they've got like 4 units of horses chasing down this one, the rest of my cavalry having a field day in the rest of the battlefield, right? Just charging into their swords, going around the side, and all that time the enemy units are over here. Again, I'm not complaining though about what the player is doing with this unit though. Obviously just constantly harassing, trying to pick down as many of these lancers as they can. Now that unit of lancers is closing in. Oh, that's a nice volley though. But yeah, these lancers on the charge are pretty fast. Charge does not quite make it. They are going to catch these guys though. I was going to pin them down. Obviously, the person's putting me spam clicking them away. I wonder why. Oh yeah, it's because this cavalry is exhausted. That's why they're able, just too much maneuvering. Indeed. And I'm really surprised why this cavalry is just like sitting here, just like, screw that, bring it around here and get it stuck in. Does very much seem like as well the battle has been going pretty bad, obviously, as we expected range-wise on the front lines. The two forces of Elves, the Linden Elves and the Noldrin Elves, have obviously winning this missile off against the Woodland Realm. Being pretty decisive, and again, I think their missiles are mainly looking to try and take down as many of these located room, these guys on the far right, the Warlords of Rune, because they're just such a deadly unit. That guy's an arrow like in his stomach right there, yeah, in his armor, and that's exactly what they're trying to focus down. Just trying to kill as many of these guys as possible before the main infantry fight does engage. As well as that, the Elves have now finally been caught against the Lancers, as you would really expect. I'm surprised how fast the Lancers actually are. They are 90 speed, and yeah, the Noldrins are 90 speed, but again, they're exhausted, so we have more cavalry moving around the flank now as well. And as I said, I think really, I don't know why the Elves are playing so defensive when they don't need to. Like, I feel like they could go on the offense. I mean, again, their front line is pretty hammered by that cavalry, but they have all this horse still left remaining, which is just so deadly. Again, just bringing it around to this flank, and there's nothing really to stop you. You've decimated the archers on both sides. Obviously, this cavalry can now come in, but it's very tired, whereas your cavalry should be pretty fresh. As the Elves move on, the Warlords of the Elven Riders are going, I think, to capture the city centre, which is a bit weird, considering this is a field battle, but it's not going to be long for this world. He's basically just trapping himself, because we're seeing the cavalry moving. Yeah, kind of a weird, funny move. I guess they were just messing around, considering the battle's being played out here, and he's going to go capture the city centre to win, because this is obviously technically a siege map. But obviously, he's pretty much just killing himself here. There is no way out. Drums in the deep. Yeah, he's not going to survive too long, as more of the archer fighters come in. And yeah, as I said, just abandon this position and move round. Like, you guys clearly will have the advantage. I mean, again, the Elven front line is battered from, I don't even know, yeah, from that cavalry charge. The Elven Rider going in was insane. And now the rest of the missile fire coming in, just able to come in. This is like, again, having cavalry here would be so good. You just scare off this cavalry and stop it from shooting you whatsoever. And you obviously jump on board here as the cavalry does move up. And we're obviously going to see the Elven Rider trying to capture the city centre and, yeah, pursue them. Well, actually, where the hell is it? Oh, it's all the way over there? Oh, it can escape out here? No, there's no way down here, surely. It's running to its doom. I guess it's trying to tie up some horse. Not a bad idea. Obviously, if the Elven General does die, that's not a good thing either. As more cavalry ranges in, again, I just don't understand why the Elves don't have their cavalry here. It's really putting them at a disadvantage, because they're just giving themselves options. Oh, it can come down here? Oh my god, well, that's just exhausting a lot of the Elven cavalry. Nice play here, honestly. I mean, obviously, it's probably going to die unless the Elves are really stupid, but, like, they should have this Elven General. If they don't, that's a bit of a yikes. But again, there's just this static play from both sides is a little bit uninteresting at the moment, honestly. I'm not going to lie. Just give me some action. I don't understand why neither side is really charging forward. Like, there's a lot of infantry still here that could smash through the Elves. You just want to engage it, and right now, both sides are being very scared. Finally, though, the cavalry has now pantsed into action, and getting onto this general is going to be huge. Obviously, he was planning on coming in and obviously reinforcing. Getting the Hall Guardians in, though, will be pretty nice. But the general is very much dead there from the Woodland Realm. I'd be extremely surprised if he survived. Already down to 36 as more of the Elven cavalry comes launching itself in. Even with the reinforcement of the Hall Guardians, the Linden Elves, their job is just to kill this general and get the hell out of there. As the Woodland Realm reinforces their general, trying to save his life, but I imagine there is no life to be saved, as he is down to 17 Elves now. We are finally starting to see some action on the front lines as more of the runic forces starts jostling in. It does seem like the attack is ready to be popping off now, which I think is a good idea, whilst the cavalry is busy and engaged here. And there you go, the Woodland Realm General has now been slain. Also not a bad move here to bring out the cavalry and then rear charge. These Hall Guardians are no longer in square formation, so you can actually kill them with rear guard. Obviously, when they're in square formation, it's impossible to get any rear charges off on them. But now you definitely could. Also, what I would probably do at this point in the battle, and your archers are so low on numbers now, Just bring my archers over and shooting these guys. They're shock infantry, so they don't have great missile resistance. And you don't really need your missiles elsewhere. The rest of the missiles, though, are still exchanging off, trying to take down as many of these Warlords of Ruin who are just lobbing their way into battle. And honestly, these guys should not be able to make it into battle in a normal battle. And if they do, they will be severely, severely wounded. As they do charge in. And a good counter charge as well, especially when you're playing with shock infantry. You have to be the one counter charging. If you're not, you're going to be taking a big hit to your offensive capability. Now we're seeing two very strong units fight one another. It does seem like the Warlords of Ruin are going to be taking the advantage early on in this battle, though. Obviously, they're going to be at basically full strength, whereas these Noldrian swordsmen did take a pounding from that cavalry in the beginning of the battle, weakening them down. As more cavalry does come out. We have another unit of horse as well. Lancers just coming in, disrupting the main battle line as the forces, Woodland Realm, continues to push up. Again, this cavalry is now finally moving over to this battle. Honestly, I should have just been here from the beginning. Because right now, again, the enemy general is charging in, ripping through that Noldrian sword line. And there just needs to be a counterpunch. There needs to be a unit of cavalry coming in and punishing this. And there just really isn't. So far, this battle is looking pretty good. We have the beautiful looking unit of elven pikes here. They look so amazing. I absolutely love their weaponry. I mean, it just looks absolutely so beautiful. It really does. More of the archer fire coming in, and the elves over on this right-hand side are reforming that line as effectively as they can. But again, the shock infantry from the warriors over here, these axes ready to throw themselves. And again, they just look so goddamn beautiful. Able to move in, taking a bit of missile fire. That guy just took an arrow under the shoulder. Oh, that guy took an arrow as well. A handful of them going down. Again, real nice targets there for the missiles. But the Woodland Realm are now charging with full force into their opponents. Getting anything they can engaged and ready for battle. We just go down this battle line very slowly. You can see the warriors fighting side by side. The shipwright nobles, the elite forces of Linden. You can see their ability to fight. And they'll be able to do a decent job there against the Woodland Realm swords. The shock infantry from the elves as well. Throwing themselves in. The pikes engaging the Warlords of Ruin. Again, the Warlords the Clan Guards even. They're mainly just here not to engage the enemy. They're just going to try and keep them at bay. The cavalry finally arriving. And this could honestly turn the tide of this battle. Reinforcing this battle with more of your cavalry. You can definitely try and pin out the Bane of the Steppe General and help out. Over on this other side as well, loads of shock infantry have come flying in. And they're just throwing themselves. But however, these Warlords of Ruin are up to 160 kills. That is pretty scary. Unfortunately, they are going to find themselves taken care of and killed momentarily just because of the sheer weight of elves crashing on that side. However, there are some more Loke Room swords ready to throw in. And there's more spearmen in reserve as well. As the cavalry continues to hit this back line for the elves. The archers as well, just trying to pin down any units that are breaking their way through. But there is a huge gap in the elven line right here. And that is allowing these spearmen to charge forward even under heavy missile fire. As the archers focus down the axemen who have got round the side and onto the elven spears. These guys are going to be pushing on and the elves are going to be forced to fall back or engage the enemy. Luckily, this is just one unit here of spearmen, and they are now getting shot in the side. But the elven line is close to breaking unless they can reinforce. A balanced power bar is looking awful for the defenses of the elves. Getting these axemen round the side gonna be just catastrophic, I think, for their battle line. You can just see the sheer strength of these runic forces. And Rune is definitely one of the top tier factions of the mod for sure. They're very versatile. They have amazing shock infantry. Their front line is very, very decent. And then they also have that cavalry, that Bane of the Steppe. They just have a lot of options really. They have multiple types of shock infantry they can bring cheap and expensive. And they have multiple types of cavalry they can bring cheap and expensive. So they're a very versatile roster with solid frontline infantry. And that's why you see them playing so much. That's why you see like a faction like Darmroth as well played so much. Because they have that versatility. I would say Rune and Darmroth are a very similar faction in the way they play. very good cavalry, but also a bunch of very, like, again, I think it really spawns down to them having their medium infantry is really good, and that's why people play them, because they can take more of that medium infantry into battle. The pikemen here trying to just do some damage, coming into the side here. I'm not sure exactly what they're attacking, probably these guys. However, throwing in the guardsmen and ladders, they'll be able to move into these spearmen, but again, the spearmen are just basically here to hold. The elves have managed to win on this side though, which is obviously what we expected with that reinforcement. Now they need to quickly rush over as many men as they can and try and help out. The enemy general is taken care of as well. That is going to see the guardsmen and ladders broken by the forces. Another cavalry charge. How the hell did this Bane of the Steppes survive? Fighting like 4 units of cavalry, I will never know. The infantry as well are slowly making their way over. These Hall Guardians, probably exhausted by this point. They're going to come over and finish this battle up, and I think, honestly, there is not much hope left for the defenders whatsoever. It seems like, yeah, their left flank has now been crushed as infantry move around here. The general is moving in, even though the Bane of the Steppe finally does go down. The general unit falling for Rune. The rest of the units are just up against it, and we will be watching the last stand, really, of these Hall Guardians. We've done pretty good, honestly. 32 kills of pikes is generally pretty good. For killability, generally pikes are just a zone control unit. You stick them like on the flank to scare off the enemy or absorb ammunition. Which is one of the reasons I don't think these guardsmen and ladders will probably be played that much in competitive. Because they're just going to absorb all the missiles, and they're a very expensive unit to do that. You want to be trying to obviously trade your expensive units for, you know, better targets. However, still a pretty scary unit indeed if you do use it in the right way. The Shipwright Nobles as well, clearly winning this. 52 kills on them. Holding back the Lasgalan Spearmen over on this side as well. Only 42 kills. Yeah, again, not great compared to the Easterlings, who have really been the main hammer in this battle, I'll say. With their shock infantry just being so deadly, this unit up to 83 kills. Pretty scary indeed, as they just continue to wrap around the side. This unit up to 34 kills as well. 140 kills on these Noldrin swords though. So this unit for the elves have done a pretty decent job. But again, this is mainly spearmen they're fighting, so nothing to be too surprised about. As more and more reinforcements do continue to turn up, the archers now moving in. And yeah, that's going to be it really for the defenders. It's going to be GG there. Forces of Rune and the Woodland Realm winning that battle. And honestly, I think it just came down to that cavalry. Having no cavalry to kind of scare off that initial charge, which I think is so important when you're playing the elves who don't have a lot of like shielded infantry. I don't think the Linden elves... And the Linden elves have sword and shield, I'm pretty sure. But the Noldrin swords only have shock infantry, I think. And not having your cavalry to kind of stop that charge coming in is brutal. I think if they would have... Obviously they're expecting to come around this flank and not hit into them Hall Guardians. But even still, there should have been some cavalry to kind of counter-punch the enemy horse right away. But still well played to both sides. It was a very interesting game, and I'm hoping to see more replays from the 2v2, or maybe it's a 1v1 tournament. Either way, from the tournament that's being hosted on this latest patch with the new updates to the dwarfs and stuff, so lots of new units to see going on. Also, as well as that, guys, you should make sure to go subscribe to the Rise of Mordor YouTube channel. They've been streaming a ton of stuff, and it'd be awesome if they did more of it, because it's great seeing the development of the mod. They've been streaming development on the campaign map that they're working on, the custom Middle-earth campaign map. They've been streaming the new 3D assets. They've been streaming the new concept art. So a bunch of really awesome stuff. So definitely go over to their Discord and check that out. The last thing, guys, I'm interested to see how many kills. Yeah, Warlords of Rune and the Shock Warriors right here doing it just amazing. And the Elves, yeah, again, 118 kills on Wall Guardians, not bad. And even though the Elven Infantry did do pretty decent, it's just for Cavalry, I feel like could have done way more. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle. If you did, make sure you drop a like and a comment down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one.